Welcome to a brand new video on our channel. Today, we're discussing the movie Venom, The Last Chance. What makes this movie particularly exciting for all the Venom fans is that it not only features multiple symbiotes but also introduces the god of the symbiotes, Null. So, let's dive right in and walk through the entire storyline of Venom, The Last Dance. This way, anyone who hasn't seen it can still enjoy the story from home. Be sure to watch until the end because this video is packed with exciting details. The movie begins in a dark dimension where we see Null, the god of the symbiotes, surrounded and restrained by symbiotes, which he created long ago. Null explains that he was once the ruler of a dark empire until a sudden emergence of light shattered his dominion, leading to his fall. Eventually, even his own creations turned against him, imprisoning him. Now, Null reveals that his only way out is to find the Codex, which can act as the key to free him. As we continue, we learn that Null isn't alone in his prison. There are also creatures called genophages. These genophages, unlike the symbiotes, are deadly predators that hunt and consume symbiotes. In a new twist, the movie shows us that these genophages, originally from Marvel Comics, are reimagined here as Null's creations, preceding the symbiotes. Loyal to Null, the genophages receive his order to scour the universe, locate the Codex, and bring it to him so he can be released and restore his dark empire. Null, now enraged, opens several portals, unleashing the genophages across different planets in search of the Codex. As the genophages spread, the intro sequence plays, and then the movie shifts focus to Eddie Brock. We see Eddie in a bar, the same one from Spider-Man, No Way Home. Eddie's trying to learn about the heroes of the MCU and hears from the bartender about Thanos, the villain who wiped out half the universe for 5 years. Right after this, we see Eddie with his Venom symbiote, setting up the events that are about to unfold. After arriving in the No Way Home universe, Eddie Brock is curious about the MCU heroes. While he's chatting with the bartender, he learns about the infamous villain, Thanos, who wiped out half the universe for 5 years. Just then, Doctor Strange's spell takes effect, sending Eddie and his Venom symbiote back to their original universe. Upon their return, Eddie notices they're still in the same bar in Mexico, with only a small change. The bartender in this universe has long hair. Eddie settles back in, and Venom humorously extends extra hands from Eddie's body to make him a drink, startling the bartender. Just then, Eddie notices a TV broadcasting news about Detective Patrick Mulligan's murder, with Eddie being the prime suspect. Realizing it's risky to return to San Francisco, Eddie decides he'll head to New York, where he has connections who might help prove his innocence. Venom leaves a small piece of his symbiote on the bar counter as they pay and exit. Outside, Eddie hears the barking of dogs and follows the sound to find several dogs locked in cages, seemingly part of an illegal operation. He confronts the culprits, warning them to leave and free the animals. When they ignore him and open fire, Venom emerges, transforming Eddie into his monstrous form. Venom frees the dogs and devours the villains' heads, then reverts Eddie back to his human form as they leave the scene. Meanwhile, a genophage, one of Null's minions, watches Eddie from a nearby building, though Eddie is unaware. From afar, another mysterious figure observes Eddie through CCTV footage, signaling to General Rex to capture him. General Rex and his team quickly arrive at the bar where Eddie had been, questioning the bartender. Upon hearing the bartender's story of the strange, multi-armed visitor, they sedate him and take him for questioning. They also seize the small piece of venom left on the counter. Now, Eddie's journey takes a dark turn as he unknowingly becomes the target of this powerful task force, setting up an intense chase with General Rex and the looming threat of Null's genophages. The scene shifts, introducing us to Dr. Penn, a researcher working at Area 51. For those unfamiliar, Area 51 is a real, secretive site in the United States often associated with alien research. In this movie, we see Dr. Penn entering Area 51, where all the symbiotes found on Earth have been contained. Soon after, General Rex arrives to meet with Dr. Penn, and it becomes clear that he, too, works for Area 51. General Rex hands Dr. Penn a small piece of Venom's symbiote, collected from the bar, for further research. Together, they proceed to a room where they observe Patrick Mulligan, who is alive but captive in Area 51. In their conversation, it's revealed that Patrick was dead when they found him and was fused with a symbiote, which brought him back to life. This fusion highlights that symbiotes in Sony's Spider-Man universe have the power to resurrect their hosts. Suddenly, Patrick rises and moves toward the glass, speaking ominously to Dr. Penn and General Rex about a looming danger. However, these words aren't Patrick's but his symbiote's, which reveals its connection to Null, the god of darkness. The symbiote explains that Null, who created all symbiotes, was once imprisoned by them but now seeks freedom. To do so, Null needs the Codex, which is a key to breaking free. The symbiote's words hint at the hive mind link among symbiotes, giving them shared knowledge. Meanwhile, we cut to Eddie Brock, who is now Venom and hitching a ride on a plane to New York. Mid-flight, a genophage, the creatures loyal to Null, attacks Venom on the plane. A fierce battle ensues, during which the genophage detects the Codex within Venom, located near his neck. Venom cleverly outwits the genophage by jumping out of the plane and deploying a parachute to save Eddie, who then questions Venom about the attacker. Venom explains that the creature was a genophage, sent to retrieve the Codex from within him. Eddie, confused, asks what this means, leading Venom to share the history of the symbiotes. He explains that Null, the symbiote god, created both the symbiotes and the genophages. However, the symbiotes rebelled and imprisoned Null within a prison called Clintar. To break free, Null needs the Codex, an energy created within a symbiote that brings a host back to life. Venom reveals that Eddie, unbeknownst to him, carries the Codex because he once died and was revived by Venom, as shown in a flashback to Venom, the first movie. Venom warns Eddie that whenever he fully transforms into Venom, the Codex near his neck glows, allowing the genophages to detect it from afar. This leaves them continuously at risk of being hunted by Null's loyal genophages. Now, with Null's forces actively pursuing them and the Codex within Eddie, the stakes are higher than ever. To prevent detection by the genophage, Venom decides not to fully transform Eddie, as doing so would reveal the Codex's location. If the genophage locates the Codex, it would lead her straight to Null, enabling his freedom and causing Eddie and Venom's deaths. Moving forward cautiously, Eddie and Venom spot a horse. They decide to use it to cover more ground quickly, so Venom latches onto the horse, attempting to keep Eddie safe. Despite attempts to disguise themselves, the genophage manages to track Venom. She arrives swiftly, and General Rex's team panics and opens fire on her. In the commotion, Venom seizes the chance to retreat, re-entering Eddie's body, allowing them to escape Rex's team and the genophage. Continuing through the forest, Eddie encounters a man named Martin traveling with his family. Martin kindly shares a meal with Eddie and mentions that he's heading to Area 51, hoping to see aliens, fulfilling a lifelong dream. Seeing Martin's genuine and kind nature, Eddie asks for his help in reaching New York, and Martin agrees, offering Eddie a ride. Martin then drops Eddie off in New York before continuing his journey with his family. Once in New York, Eddie changes his clothes to blend in and heads to a casino. There, he runs into Mrs. Chan, who is delighted to see him and invites him home. She celebrates by dancing and encourages Eddie to join. Although Eddie refuses, Venom eagerly takes over, transforming Eddie fully and joining in the dance. This transformation, however, alerts the genophage, who arrives, but Venom quickly retracts into Eddie, concealing the Codex and causing the genophage to leave quietly. Just after the genophage departs, General Rex and his team arrive, having tracked Eddie as well. They render him unconscious, and using a specialized device, extract Venom from Eddie's body, capturing him in a container. Both Eddie and Venom are then transported directly to the Area 51 lab. When Eddie regains consciousness, he finds himself in the lab, but his alertness is short-lived as General Rex enters and shoots him, intending to kill him. However, nearby is Dr. Penn's assistant, who, after this, the scene shifts to Dr. Sadie, Dr. Penn's assistant, who opens the container holding Venom. The Venom symbiote immediately bonds with Eddie, saving his life and transforming him fully into Venom once again. However, this alerts the genophage, who bursts into the lab, destroying everything in her path and taking down each of General Rex's men one by one. Seeing the destruction, Dr. Sadie, realizing Venom needs backup, starts opening containers holding other symbiotes so they can assist in fighting the genophage. The released symbiotes bond with people in the lab, forming a unified force against the genophage. Despite their combined efforts, the genophage proves far stronger, capturing and even consuming some of the symbiotes. Seizing the opportunity, Venom retracts into Eddie's body to prevent detection and quickly exits the lab, leading him outside. Once outside, Eddie sees that Martin and his family have somehow arrived at the scene, placing them in danger. Acting quickly, Eddie rescues Martin and his family, guiding them to safety. Inside, the remaining symbiotes begin to overpower the genophage, weakening her. In desperation, she screams, summoning backup. Several portals open around her, and 4 or 5 additional genophages appear. Eddie, transforming into Venom, joins forces with the symbiotes to face the new threats. However, with the added genophages, the symbiotes are outmatched, and Eddie and Venom sustain severe injuries. In an effort to turn the tide, Venom tells Eddie they must combine their strengths fully to defeat the genophages. Eddie agrees, and once more, he transforms into Venom, moving toward the genophages. They surround Venom, but he uses multiple tentacles to bind them tightly. Then, he leads them to a nearby container holding a highly potent acid, capable of disintegrating nearly anything. Venom's plan is to use the acid to eliminate the genophages. Right before reaching the acid, Venom separates Eddie from his body to save him, then plunges into the acid with the genophages, sacrificing himself. The acid dissolves the genophages one by one, ultimately killing Venom as well. Eddie, left unconscious from his injuries, is later found and taken to safety. Meanwhile, Dr. Penn takes a symbiote from another container, which we learned is the symbiote called Scorn. Dr. Penn bonds with Scorn and, along with Dr. Sadie, leaves the lab. When Eddie finally regains consciousness, he finds himself in a hospital. A senior military officer arrives to meet him, thanking Eddie for saving them from the alien threat of the genophages. Recognizing Eddie and Venom's role in preventing a catastrophic event, the officer officially clears Eddie of all charges. The officer informs Eddie that from now on, he can live his life in peace. In the following scenes, we see Eddie resuming a normal life, though he frequently misses his Venom symbiote. With this, the movie concludes. However, there are two post-credit scenes. In the first, we see Null himself. His face is finally revealed, and he declares his intention to destroy the entire universe. This scene hints at the potential future use of the god of symbiotes, Null, in upcoming films. The second post-credit scene returns to the bartender that General Rex had previously brought to Area 51. The bartender stands outside, observing the surrounding destruction and confusion, not understanding what happened there. But nearby, we spot a small piece of Venom's symbiote body that General Rex had taken from the bar. This scene ends here, implying that Venom still exists within Sony's Spider-Man universe. That tiny piece may grow and possibly bond with the bartender, keeping Venom alive for future storylines. So, friends, this was a video covering the story of Venom, The Last Dance. How did you like it? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed it, please like the video and comment Venom or Venom-3, or simply good or very good, so we can see your feedback. I'll see you in another exciting video. Until then, goodbye.